Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, welcome to Overcharge Plasma Gaming. Hopefully you're hearing me clearly through the microphone this time, as I do not have it set to minus 20 decibels volume as it did with Matic, which didn't help. But anyway, today we're here with Gabriel. They're a long-time member of the Scottish 40k community, a few years now.
Yeah, about 2.5 years now, we're on 3.
And how do you get into 40k? Is Imperial Guard always been your army, or have you done other armies as well?
Actually, I only started playing Imperial Guard when I got to Scotland. I was originally a Chaos Space Marines player, and I got into the hobby because I broke my ankle at work, and so I was off work for like 5 weeks. And I ended up just buying I think it was Dark Vengeance, the box set with like Dark Angels and Chaos Space Marines. And my friend was like, "Oh yeah, let's get into it," and then he really lost interest super quickly, and I became obsessed.
It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, no. But yeah, no. It's been about 6 years now into the hobby, and it's really fun. Just painting up cool models, and Imperial Guard is some of the coolest out there. So
yeah, you've been to a few tournaments as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I went down with you to Newcastle, to Stirling, and to Manchester for a couple of GTs.
And mixed success, I think, is a fair comment.
yeah. It's I have a fun tendency to run into national team members on my first round, and then get absolutely shattered.
Yeah. I mean, that can happen at tournaments, but you typically have a nice game with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a couple laughs, have a couple drinks afterwards.
Learn a few things as well.
Oh, I never learn.
You know, maybe that's why you're getting mixed results.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
But yeah, so it's quite good because you're pretty much the only person in a local meta playing Imperial Guard. Probably for reasons which are pretty obvious to some of the audience, but they're in a bit of a rough spot. For those who aren't aware.
There's not a lot of builds for Imperial Guard regiments right now for competitive play, just because they are very fragile, and they don't have the weight of fire to deal with a lot of the more sort of durable armies that are coming out right now.
Yeah, and definitely my ears are burning at the sound of durable armies, because if you haven't seen from the thumbnail or the title, if so, wear your glasses. I'm playing Iron Hands, which is probably one of the more durable Space Marines factions out there, because they have stacking armor buffs and whatnot. So I'm basically taking your play but making it a bit better.
Yeah,
absolutely. By being Marines.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's going to be a good game, I feel. So just to get into the game itself, we're playing Mission 33, which is priority targets.
Yes.
A priority objective. It's priority something in Mission 33 in the GT 2021 rules pack. So those of you who don't know, this is the one where you can move objectives, and there's 5 objectives on the board, one in the middle of the table, which a crater is on top of, a crashed Aeronautica Imperialis plane, maybe foreshadowing a little bit.
Hopefully not.
And the other 4 are spread out equally across the 4 quarters of the board, and then you get to move them depending on the attacker, defender, and a bunch of stuff. And we have taken our secondaries already, and so we're kind of in the pre-deployment stage. I have taken priority targets, Stranglehold, and Oath of Moment. And what have you taken?
I've taken priority targets as well, raise the banners, and engage on all fronts. My army's pretty mobile, so hopefully I can rack up the points before they start dying in droves like Guard does.
I don't know if Black Library has called it the 1 lifetime of an average guardsman, but
I think it's 8 hours.
8 hours?
Yeah, it's I think there's a guard book called 8 hours, and it's like the average lifespan of a guardsman.
Yeesh. Is that including training?
Hopefully not. That'd be real short.
That'll be a pretty bad 8 hours. It's like I can imagine an Always Sunny in Philadelphia title guard.
Yeah, that's
the guard 8 hours.
The gang goes to guard training camp.
So the armies on display here today, as it is Iron Hands versus essentially Tempestus Scions. Even though you do have the entirety of the Guard Codex, you've said this one little bit is good for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So guard proper is in a really difficult place right now,
Yeah.
but Tempestus Scions has a lot of flexibility within the options they can bring in terms of the Bullgryns are very high damage output. You can bring in things like Astropaths and Primary Psychers for your sort of psychic phase damage or buffing synergy, and the Tempestus the Tempestus Scions proper have a lot of versatility on what sort of special weapons they can bring and in how many numbers. Like a Tempestus Scion squad of 10 can take 4 plasma guns and a plasma pistol, which is a lot of damage output.
Speaking of which, how many plasma guns are in your list?
I have 12 plasma guns and I have 9 plasma pistols.
So you're really representing the channel here.
Yes, and I
even with the hair, you're representing the channel.
yeah, exactly. I never don't overcharge. I always overcharge my plasma.
So I've also got some plasma, so this is a bit of a plasma show off. I have a couple of the Redemptors with the macro plasma incinerators on their main arm. So yeah, so we'll get into the lists now. So why don't you talk us through your Imperial Guard? It will be on screen, so you don't have to, so any mistakes you make we can correct.
Absolutely. So I have 2 separate detachments for my list today. I have 1 battalion detachment of Iodine Dragons. My Tempestor Prime has a Tempestus Command Rod, which gives him an extra order, and he has the I paid a CP for Progeny of Conflict, which lets him have a Warlord trait. The Warlord trait that he has is Old Grudges, which lets me re-roll wounds against 1 model that I choose at the beginning of the first turn.
Or 1 unit.
Sorry, for one unit. So I nominate 1 unit, and then any units within 6 inches of the Warlord then get to re-roll wounds against that specific model.
And you pick that in the deployment. At the end of deployment, right?
Yeah, before the first turn.
Yeah.
And then my troop slots have 6 squads of 5 Tempestus Scions. The sergeant in each squad has a plasma pistol and a chainsword, and the other 4 are just bare bones hotshot las guns. The elite slot has a squad of 7 Bullgryn and an Astropath, which is taking a psychic barrier, so +1 to all saves, and a Tempestus Scions command squad with Meltas. So that's one detachment right there. My second detachment is a patrol detachment, which has
It's okay.
Landon Lions. There
you go.
Landon Lions, which gives -1 AP to all ranged weapons. And in this one, it is just the 1 Tempestor Prime with the command rod. He is the Warlord, and his Warlord trait is Keys to the Armory, which gives all Landon Line units within 6 inches rerolling 1s to hit, which is very good. And to sort of buff that up, I also have Commissar Yarick. Commissar Yarick is, he has Hero of Hades Hive, which also gives him reroll 1s to hit in a 6-inch aura to all Astra Militarum units. For the troops choice, I have my Tempestus Scions. I have 3 squads of 10 this time. All of these sergeants have plasma pistols and chainswords, and I have 4 plasma guns in each squad, so very high potential damage output. I have a flyer slot, and that has 2 Valkyries in it. Each one has multi-las, 2 heavy bolters, and the multiple rocket pods. And to top it all off, I have 3 Torox Primes with autocannons and the Torox Gatling cannon.
Awesome, thank you very much. So, a lot of damage output.
Yes, a lot of firepower.
AP4 plasma.
AP -4 plasma, AP -3 hotshot las guns. There can be potentially a lot of synergy. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get to see it.
That may just push the Terminators over.
Yeah, hopefully. I really hope so.
Speaking of the Terminators, into the Iron Hands list. So I'm running a single battalion today, as Space Marines tend to. They are Iron Hand successors. Because the Funeral Pain is nice, the Double Wound is nice, but I'd rather have +1 advantage charge and 6 to hit and melee. And that's what I've taken. So Whirlwind of Rage and Hungry for Battle, which I think sums up Terminators with Thunderpower and Storm Shields quite nicely. So starting off the battalion, I do have an Eversor Assassin who is not a Space Marine unit, but Assassin, you can bring 1 Imperial Agent into any Imperial detachment without breaking it. So hey, Eversor Assassin, because I had 100 points over and I had no idea what to spend it on. So.
And you know what? Eversor Assassins are really scary. Like going in and sort of exploding attacks when you kill different units. Like they will absolutely mince through guard units.
Yeah, they have -1 AP, which is kind of just the perfect break point to put pressure on the guard. They reroll wounds against infantry all the time. They have 8 attacks. They're nasty. 3d6 charge. They're awesome. They can also fight twice for 1 CP, I think.
Yeah, you can.
Might take a mortal wound for it, but hey.
Well,
who cares, right? You're mincing guards.
That's a risk that you're willing to take at that point.
Yeah. Into the HQs now. We have so my ward is a librarian in Terminator armor. He is running with the Rights of War warlord trait and also targeting protocols. Rights of War is a 6-inch aura of all core and character units of the same chapter. As him, gets objective secured. So hey, that's my entire army. Apart from the assassin.
Yeah, that's.
And also target protocols is I pick 1 unit within 6 inches of him of the shooting phase, and they get to reroll 1 hit, 1 wound, and 1 damage roll with ranged weapons. So that's quite nice. Just a bit more efficiency in the Space Marine army, because that's what they're lacking.
Efficiency. Yeah, rerolls.
Yeah. Speaking of lacking in rerolls, I have a Chapter Master next. I have so this is the one from the Indominus box set, and so it's got the relic shield for the 4 up against mortals, because I do have a couple of Redemptor Dreadnoughts that might explode in him.
Oh yeah.
And you do have an Astra Pathway, right? Smite it?
Yeah, maybe. If
things go horribly wrong for me, you're smiting.
Yeah, if things go horribly wrong for me, I'm going to be smiting your Chapter Master.
And he's got a relic. There aren't too many good relics in this, but they're running with a. Oh, sorry, I should. Right, I'll go back to the librarian, but I'll finish off the Chapter Master first, just to confuse everyone. He's got the Tempered Helm. Every CP is spent. 5 up, I regenerate 1. Speaking of relics, I have a relic on the librarian in Terminator armor.
Oh.
Tome of Malkador, 3 spells.
Ooh, very good.
And his spells I forgot to mention as well. We're tired already. It's
the weather. It's something in the water.
It's been a week and a day, I would say. So I've got Beneficence of the Omnicide for +1 to hit in the vehicle. I have got Reforged for I can repair a vehicle, and I've got the all-important Science Steel Armor for +1 armor to any unit I pick within 12 inches of the librarian.
Very powerful.
So how does -1 armor save Terminator sound when they're in cover?
About as scary as -1 save Bulgrin's sound in cover.
So finishing off the HQs, I have a second librarian. Very rare to see 2 librarians in an army these days, but I have a Primaris librarian. They're running the Chief Librarian and has the Psychic Mastery Follower trait, and they have got Veil of Time, Psychic Fortress, and Might of Heroes. So that's basically, in a nutshell, I move faster, I am just a better Space Marine, and I have an invulnerable, in a nutshell. And I think they all cast on 5, so there's +1 to cast as well, so it's super easy to cast it. Moving into the troops, I have 1 unit of Incarcerators, 1 and 2 units of Intestors. Intestors are armed with the Bolt Rifles and Chainsword. Then I have got into the elite slots, I've got a Chief Apothecary with my last warlord trait with Self-Sealer. So you can bring guys back and heal twice and everything. It's awesome, and it doesn't cost me any CP.
Yeah, that seems.
And also gives me 6 up funeral pain that I'm missing from being unenhanced proper. So, how does -1 Terminators when they recover with a 6 up funeral pain sound?
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
I have 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts in there with Macroplasma Incinerators, Onslaught Gatling Cannon, Stormbolters, and Icarus Rocket Pods on both of them. And then I have the foretold 10 Terminators with Thunderhammer Storm Shield. I would like Lightning Claws in there, but I don't have Lightning Claws. Although one of them used to have Lightning Claws, which you might see. If you can spot it in the battle, comment below which one we're talking about. Then, to round off the list, I have 3 Eradicators with the Melter Rifles, not the heavy one. I didn't have the points.
That's. I'm pretty sure they'll perform just as well.
Yeah. Something's telling us that. So with that, we're going to end the preview there. We're going to go into deployment and we'll catch you there. Okay everyone, welcome to the end of the deployment phase. So I must apologise, we tried to get you an overhead shot and I've even rigged something up, a gorilla pod, and you're missing all of this table bit here and the same on the other side. We just don't have the height in this room. So it's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. We'll just crack on using the lovely low-tech monkey tail camera stabilizer. Anyway, so we are playing, as we said in the introduction, priority targets, mission 33. So we set up the markers and we moved them about. Gabriel won the roll-off for that. And decided to move 2 markers at once, which is the optimum way of doing it. So I moved the first marker, which was this one, which was tucked into that building there, over here. Then Gabriel moved my one out of my building, and I returned the favour when I could. Then he slid this one slightly over further into one of his own. So I'm going to run through it with you now. So in this building I have got my Terminators, the Chief Apothecary, and the Librarian and Terminator armour. Then over here I've got my Tactic Master, who's being an absolute baller and standing out in the middle. I've got 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts. In this building here, you can't really see them because it's a bit dark, I'm afraid, but there is a unit of 5 Intercessors, and they are scaled up on the floor so that there's no sneaky Meltagun command squads coming in and wrecking my poor Dreadnoughts, Gabriel. Then I have my own Meltaguns, the Eradicators, who are working in the shadows there, thinking at the Raven Guard. And over here you have, in this building, Blade Guard, another unit of Intercessors. My Eversor Assassin, lovely model, is in reserves, and then out front I have got my Phobos and Cursor unit. Just to remind you of my secondaries, I have taken priority targets, Stranglehold, and Oath of Moment. Gabriel, talk us through your deployment.
So my deployment is it's a little bit more aggressive just because of the diagonal deployment that we went with. So I have my little castle of Torox Primes filled with my Plasma Scion squads right here on the line, with the Warlord with keys to the Armory behind them for rerolls. I have my Bulgrin back here, 1 cheeky Bulgrin's just out in the open, catching that priority target for me, while the other 6 are in the back surrounding Commissar Yerrick, who is within 6 inches of both of my Valkyries, which are holding 2 squads of Scions and 1 squad of Scions, a Melta squad, and the Tempestus Prime respectively. I've popped my Astropath and my Ministorum Priest out here to give a little bit of zone out, and hopefully that means that I can keep this corner of the board to myself.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the hope, right?
That's hopefully. We'll see
yeah,
how it works.
I mean, I'm sure the Adeptus Astartes have something to say about that with you. I'm assuming you've done some sort of heresy. Maybe as a Marin Hands, you've just forgotten to turn on a machine somewhere, so they're like, well, we're going to come and fix it for that.
Yeah, the check engine light was on.
Yeah, that was it. Your attack priests need reporting to the Adeptus Mechanicus and their skittle factories. So, as we will take priority targets, Gabriel, what is your priority target?
My priority target is going to be Objective 2.
Hey, guess what mine is?
Objective 1.
Objective 1. We're doing the meta! We have achieved peak meta with these 2 peak meta armies. So anyway, we're going to crack on with the first turn roll off on camera. So I'm going to pick up my dice. Well, the ones that I can reach. And we'll just roll in this nice little bit here, Gabriel.
Alrighty.
I rolled a 2 again.
6.
6, so you get to go first. Awesome.
There we go.
So the Aeronautica Imperialis, your Tempestus Scions get to go first. So we'll come back with a summary of the turn if nothing much happens, but if something happens, we'll come back earlier. We'll see you then. Okay everyone, welcome back to the end of the Imperial Guard turn. Before we get into it, slight addendum to the terrain and everything, because I forgot to mention a few things. Gabriel. So, first of all, these buildings, both of them were like an inch or 2 further back. I set them to be 5 inches, but in setting up objectives and everything, so they're supposed to be 5 inches measured from both of the corners to the edge of the board, so you can always get a vehicle through there for balance purposes, and they just right there like 3.5 or 4. So they are actually, these objectives are now actually part of in the building, both of them. So apologies for that. Second thing is terrain mentioned, wargamestournaments.com, fantastic, easy to build, giving wee discounts. I give them a wee shout out just to help them out. Do go check them out, link will be downstairs. Markers come from Nori Custom Designs in Cooper. Go check her out, she does lovely stuff, t-shirts, bags, custom objective markers, which will help her design. And then the creators come from DW, they do not need a shout out. Until they pay me, they don't get a shout out. And then the mat comes from Game Mat EU and is of course double sided, because you're paying for 1.5 mats and you get 2 mats out of it. Makes sense to me. So, with the forgetful host out of, announcements out of the way, Gabriel, talk us through your turn, starting with the movement phase.
So, in movement phase, I have done a couple of things just to mitigate some turn to nastiness, if just in case a cheeky adversary came down. So before the first Valkyrie moved, I disembarked them over here to maintain a bit of distance between the between the Bulgrin that are holding and the characters in the back.
And the Bulgrin also raised a banner.
The Bulgrin raised a banner, yes. In addition,
we'll get a marker for that at some point.
My Tempester over here came behind cover into obscuring, or into what's it
obscuring.
Called? Is it obscuring? Yeah, there we go.
He can't be seen.
Yes.
Until I get to here, he's safe.
He's he's very safe. That's going to be a couple of turns from now at least.
What's that? A 20-inch gap, something like that. So at least 9 turns of Terminator movement.
So he's moved over there, he's raising a banner, and these Torx Primes came behind terrain just in case a cheeky Redemptor Dreadnought decides to throw some -5 plasma their way.
Sure.
Then I had Yarrick embark in this green Valkyrie before going supersonic and just bursting all the way out to the end of the table to give a little bit of threat into the back line and to just give me some extra points in terms of engaging all fronts.
Yeah, so, and also these guys shot into the full boss troops there and did a grand total of 1 wound.
Yep.
I spent a CP because one of them was shooting on 4s, and I have plans for that unit. So I would like them to stay alive and relatively intact. So I spent a CP on smoke grenades, and I regenerated that CP.
Yes.
So at the end of your turn, you get 3 priority targets. Nothing for banners, that happens in turn 2 onwards. And engaging our fronts for 3 points. For 2 points, sorry.
2 points, yes. 3 points if I have 1 in each corner.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and you're sitting on 6 and I'm sitting on 7 command points.
Oh, sorry, that was the beginning of my turn, so I am now sitting on 7.
7 command points each.
There we go.
Okay, cool. We're going to go into Iron Hands, turn 1, and hopefully some dead Valkyries. We'll come back to you with that. Okay everyone, welcome back to the end of the Iron Hands turn. So in the command phase, I gave this Dreadnought here the far one, Tactic Master. And that's all I did in the command phase. In the movement phase, I shuffled the 2 dreadnoughts forward to get in line of sight of the Valkyries. Moved out the Eradicators. Put the you may not going to see it. The Captain and the Primaris Librarian forward to spread out their bubbles. This guy shuffled out to be within 12 inches of this closer dreadnought here to give him +1 to hit with a psychic phase, which he got off. Terminators just simply moved into the building, preparing for next turn. And the full boss troops here moved into the middle. They're holding within 6 inches of the middle. And I advanced a unit of Incursors out. And I popped out a unit of Blade Guard just using a regular move. On the other side is the light from the outside, the parallels outside is kind of getting in the way of my beautiful models. And Gabriel's as well. So psychic phase, I had to spend a C. So in the command phase, I also in the command phase, I also gave the back dreadnought Wizard of the Ancients for to be a lieutenant for the turn. Now into the psychic phase. This Terminator here tried to cast the +1 to hit, perils. So you can reroll it into just a pass, and then he also put +1 armor onto this guy here, but he failed it. Then the Primaris Librarian, who's just behind this wall here, put up Psychic Fortress and my Might of Heroes onto the front dreadnought. So that I've got my invulnerable there, just for any scary plasma shooting coming from this side of the table. Also for the melter guns, because no, they're still melter guns.
They're very much still melter guns.
The Eradicator shot in the shooting phase, shot and killed one Valkyrie doing. I rolled 2 6s and a 5 +6. So you do the math, and if you comment below, you win ego points. There you go. That's the comment below for. Can you do that?
If you had 12 + 5 + 6, you get how many tears I cried when it died immediately in turn 1.
Yes, and between the other 2 Redemptors, because I low rolled my plasma shots, and the Blade Guard Veteran pistols, I popped the other Valkyrie. No Scions ankles were twisted in the making of this turn. They were all fine getting out of the transports. However, the second Valkyrie did explode, killing 3 of your Scions, but killing a Blade Guard, which I think is a trade up.
Yeah,
personally.
Honestly, that's more damage than it did in the shooting phase.
Yeah, like by triple. And then the Blade Guard charged in, made a long charge. There was like 1 Scion surviving back here, and then there was a Scion squad blocking out Yarick. You can see in front of the Blade Guard, who hasn't tagged, and just remember I've forgotten to do that. Your combat's back into me.
Yes.
So what we'll do is we'll roll it up, and I will flash up on screen if anything happened from that. I am doubting personally. But yeah, so they killed the Scion squad, and they just tagged the command squad to force Gabriel to use the order to fall back and shoot, rather than fall back and reroll 1, something like that. Just trying to nullify your efficiency a little bit. So then in turn, I will get 3 on priority targets, because I've got a squad holding my 1. 3 on stranglehold, as I do hold 3, and Gabriel holds 2, and 4 for the moment. As I kill the vehicle, I hold the middle, and I have not fallen back. So we'll come back to you with the Scion turn. Okay everyone, welcome back to the end of the Imperial Guard shooting phase. So a bit of damage has happened, but we'll just talk through what happened in the movement phase and the psychic phase first, Gabriel. So what happened?
So
we can start over this end because I'm on this end.
Yeah. Movement phase. I brought the castle of Torx Prime's.
Torai.
Yeah. The Daka castle over here, back into a view of everything that had sort of come out to play. So otherwise, these guys stayed still. I moved these gentlemen over here to have a better sort of deep strike bubble.
Yep.
And in the end of this the movement phase, these guys obviously fell back from that, as well as the Tempestus Prime. End of the movement phase, my 3 squads of just regular hotshot Tempestus Scions came down and did a lot of work to this Blade Guard squad. Very nice to see. So at the end of the that was end of the movement phase. Psychic phase, I tried to do Psychic Barrier on my Bulgrin. Didn't go off, but that's okay. They're not moving anywhere anyhow.
Yep.
And then we go into shooting phase. So we have quite a bit of stuff here. So when these guys moved back, I used Get Back in the Fight to let them pull back and shoot after they've fallen back from combat. I used first rank fire, second rank fire on the first squad. I used the Auto Reliquary of Tiberius on a 2-up, rolled a 3, got a third order to order first rank fire and second rank fire on the second squad. Yarrick has one order himself, ordered first rank fire, second rank fire on the third squad. And from there, the shooting phase started, and then we started really rinsing that Blade Guard squad.
Yeah, so they're left with 2 wins on the Sergeant. So the reason why Gabriel could shoot is that I put a guy in cover, thinking that I could just tank. As my phone rings over there, I'll get that later. So so I put a guy in cover, and he died on the last volley of shots. So there was a chip wind left over. I'll try to have a couple guys left over. Yarrick is about to charge back in. Do you want to make that charging camera?
Yeah, let's.
I don't know what you
I'm
need.
not exactly sure how long the charge is going to be. But
it looks to be a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, it's a
6 inch
charge.
So do you want to roll that up for us?
True hero of the Imperium.
No,
I'm gonna
quite.
CP reroll that.
You got a 3 CP reroll time.
Down to 5 CP. Okay, clap if you believe, audience. Yes!
6. Yep, so
on the money.
So Yarrick is going to see if he can teach that Blade Guard lesson. Just mentioned the other shooting, the 3 Tauri shot into the 2 troop units here, the Intercessor and the Incursor unit, and killed 3 from each.
Yes.
So I've got some morale to take there.
Yes.
But that's fine. I'm Stage Marines and morale is it's kind of my thing.
Yep, that's fair.
So we'll come back to you at the end of the turn, see how this combat goes, and yeah, we'll let you know what happens. Okay, everyone, as we pan round this beautiful table of 140k to Yarrick, who's left all alone by his lonesome.
Hero of Hades Hive victorious.
Yeah, sounds alright.
Sounds about right.
I mean, he's gonna die now, but
I was
something.
Honestly horrified that he'd get in and then he'd just get absolutely rinsed by a
Blade Guard veteran.
Blade Guard veteran sergeant.
I mean, well, so the thing is I'm hitting on. I've got 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, 6 gold, wounding on 3s. Then you got 4 vulnerable. So chances are I did 2 to 4 wounds to you. I think he's got 5 wounds, Yarrick, something like that.
He's got 4 wounds, and then if he's on a 3-up, he doesn't lose his final wounds.
So you're not going to die.
Sick.
I did spend transhuman, and I did spend a CP to reroll to try and keep that guy alive. It was wasted CP. It was bad by me. So don't do what I do, kids. Stay in school.
But yeah, so end of the turn, I have gained a better foothold here on the last quadrant. So hopefully, fingers
I'm just going to
crossed.
roll my morale for the 2 units. So the both leadership 8 and lost 3. So does Space Marine still re-roll leadership results?
You're asking the wrong person. I haven't played Space Marines in so long.
We're going to come back whilst I check that rule. Okay, so we have checked the good book, and it is indeed you don't get it anymore. So just 1 dice. I am still failing on 6s though. So for this, the Intercessor squad in the woods. I got a 1.
Nice, heroic.
I'm not demons, sadly. And the squad in the middle.
Yes.
So on a 1, the last guy goes.
Nope, he stays.
He stays because they ignore modifiers. So I lose the guy who's wounded. So that's how those 2 detectives look. Going into my turn, which means I get the 15 from primary. It's the start of my turn.
That is a good way.
So we'll come back with once I know what I'm doing. Okay, everyone, welcome back to the end of the Ironhand's turn. So lots of little things happened there. So in the command phase, I gave the front runner again Tactical Master, and I made the back one was in the Ancients for via the Lieutenant. And moon phase, I advanced Terminators forward with the I want to say Sanguinary Priest because that is Sanguinary Priest model, which is far superior to the Apothecary model, but the Apothecary has moved up. The Incursive Sergeant has advanced away just to try and hide a little bit, be a bit safer. These guys have just moved out of line of sight a little bit just to try and hide. Also on the objective. My guys have shuffled forward. In the instance came out to play, just trying to help clear off the horde of my dudes.
Which turns out they did.
Yeah,
they did do that.
Between the Eversor Assassin running in, I think the Eversor Assassin killed 8 of them by himself. So that's killed 5.
Yeah,
Killed 5 and then 3 in the shooting phase with his pistol. Eversor Assassin is really good against Imperial Guard.
A lot of things are really good against Imperial Guard, it turns out.
I shot away most of the command squad with a dreadnought, but you used take cover?
Yes, take cover.
So that meant my -1 on the Gatling gun and -1 on the Stormboarders because the tactical doctrine didn't really apply. So, meh, oh well. Yeah, so I'm just working into the middle of the table. I managed to get very lucky with his plasma gun. Overcharged plasma gaming, yeah, overcharging plasma guns work. And I shot away a Torox Prime.
Yes, you did.
I rolled 5 shots. I got 5 hits going through 2 woods. And I did 5 wounds. And you failed 5 saves.
Yes, I did.
So that's 15 damage if anyone's keeping track. So that hurt.
Yeah.
So my turn, 15 for primary, 6 for priority targets now, 6 for stranglehold, 7 for ultimate moment. I did fail the morale on this squad, so not getting that last ultimate moment point, but that's fine. I got plenty of chances to get it. I am now out of CP because I knee-jerk reaction some earlier on. That's bad. Gabriel, sorry, your turn. You're holding 2 still, so you get 10.
Yes, I am holding 2.
And you get 2 banners, bringing up to 4 points on the banners.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So we'll come back to you with something for Imperial Guard. We're still working things out here. Okay, everyone, welcome back to the end of the Imperial Guard turn. So, Gabriel, talk us through what happened, starting with your movement phase.
So, there's a when I was starting the movement phase, I was wanting to jump out a little bit. So these Bulgrin came out from their hiding spots, and I've tried to pop them in a place where they are not able to be seen by the majority of the heavy hitters.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if that dreadnought over there in that building moves straight up, then it's only going to be the plasma gun shooting because of the range.
Yeah, exactly. That's Yarrick and the command squad didn't really move much. They just sort of kept where they were and hoped for the best. These 2 Torox Primes moved out a little bit to A, stay away from the Terminators, and B, to maybe get a better line of sight on the target, so some things could be done. The squad over here that got blown out of their Torox moved up to try to deal some wounds.
To have some harsh words with the Terminators.
Yes, to have some to write a strongly worded letter.
They're not in combat for anyone who's wondering what the range is. You gave us it over an inch away.
Yes.
Sounds do not like getting bonked by thunderhammers.
No, they do like being in close range, though.
No.
And then
these guys advance forward to contest the objectives. So you've got 2 models on there. I think one of them slipped off. So 2 models on there, so you currently hold that, stopping me getting another 15 primary.
Yes, exactly. In terms of Psychic phase, the Astropath casts Psychic Barrier on the gentlemen out in front, so they are on a +1 save for the Bulgrin. Shooting was a little bit impotent, I'm not going to lie. I did a whole 3 wounds to a squad of 10 Terminators.
No, you did 5 wounds.
Did I 5 wounds? Okay.
You killed one and then did 2 wounds to the next one.
Okay.
So Gabriel, because his AP, their AP, they were basically I had to move in an awkward manner to get guys behind this crate, this container, to get like cover. Which meant I was doing it most with 2 ups, but the plasma guns also taking 3 ups, and that's what did the damage. It was the plasma guns. So I have a big worry that you've got another 10 plasma guns in there, something like that.
Another 10, 8 plasma guns, 2 plasma pistols.
Yeah. So the Terminators are not out of the woods yet, but and dice were definitely against you that turn,
Yeah,
and with me. So maybe next turn.
Maybe next turn. We'll see what happens.
Yes. But in terms of scoring, you got your priority targets again. You're up to 9 on that one. You raise your bands at the start of the turn for 2 points, and you're engaging because Yarick and the command squad is over there, and I'm out of range, I believe, for intervention. And I can't remember if he's got 6 inch, but anyway, I think Gabriel's intention was clearly not to be intervened into.
I mean, you are actually 5.5 inches away. I was trying to charge, and that didn't really work out. I mean, I could roll. I could use a CP and re-roll the charge to see what happens.
No, I think I got a 6 inch consolidation, not intervention.
6 inch consolidation.
Yeah. So Yarick failed the charge. They got another 3.
Yes.
So Yarick is loving their 3 inches. I'm not sure what that says, but we'll leave that up to the comment section. So going into the Iron Hand's turn, I'm staying in the tactical doctrine because you've got invulnerables and stuff. So that's your AP. What really matter? You're going to get 6 up on the Scions, but I don't really mind because, yeah, next turn I have to move. Next round I have to move into the South Doctrine.
Yep, that's fair.
So yeah, we'll see what I can do. So start my turn, I do score 10 points on primary, and then we get into the rest of the turn. So we'll come back to you with a bit of a summary. Okay, everyone, welcome back to the end of the Iron Hand's turn. Just give you a quick sweep through of the table at the end of it as I talk you through. So in the command phase, I gave the back dreadnought Captain Master, and I spent the command point again for Wisdom Agents and standard stuff. Which I must have regen that as well because I CP'd in the psychic phase, so it didn't matter anyway. So anyway, just talking to Gabriel about some. We got confused this turn. There's too many rules going on. So psychic phase. So the Terminator is shuffled forward. Not much shuffling was required. They're already 1 inch away. The Avatar shuffled forward over here. You'll notice he's missing. Yarick slapped him about and taught him the ways of 85.
Best 100 points I ever put in my army.
Hey, I was too. So basically, the psychic phase was a bit of a whiff. I I failed to cast Size Steel Armor onto the Terminators for their additional +1. I CPP rolled it, failed to cast it again. That's where we got confused if I had regened and if I. Anyway. Also in the movement phase, the Apothecary healed up the Terminators and brought a guy back, so they're up to full strength again, Gabriel. Super fun unit, right?
Super fun unit, super fun.
Yeah!
Unit. I can't believe the Terminators are making their way on the table again.
It's nice to see, isn't it? Well, not for you right now.
Well, no, nor was it for the 10 Scions that were in there. They got absolutely splattered.
19 wounds.
19 wounds.
6 up save. Yeah, so the rest of the Psychic phase was Psychic Fortress and Might of Heroes onto the front guy, so that I think I failed Might of Heroes, but I got Psychic Fortress. No, I cast Psychic Fortress. And I tried to put Veil of Time in the Terminators for reroll charge to get a bigger charge. Not that they needed it because he rolled a 12. Madmen. So really confusing psychic phase. So sorry for that. Shooting phase. The Eversor shot away the melter gun. I tried to shoot away both Torx primes, but the one of the Redemptors whiffed and wasn't quite in range to put the rest of his guns into. So only one of them died. I shot away, I think, 3 Scions.
Speaking of, I'm spending 1 CP from Questioning Obedience, so because they're within 12 inches of the Tempestus Prime, they do not need to take morale.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, so these intercessors have been moved out, shot with their nice long-range bolt guns into those Scions there, and killed 3. And yeah,
the Redemptor Dread.
The Redemptor.
The 5 Scions that were.
Yeah, and like it was really like the Eradicators, the Redemptor, and that Incarcerate Sergeant who's still in the middle. those first Scions had a bad day.
Yeah, they had a real bad day.
Yeah,
they needed to deny though. So.
But yeah, so at the end of that turn, I score 3 for priority targets, bringing up to 9. 3 for Stranglehold, bringing up to 9, and I code a vehicle, so that gives me 4 fourth moment, bringing me up to 11. Yeah, I'm on 7. Yeah, 11. We could do math here.
Somehow.
And then Gabriel scores 10 because I reminded him, did he want to put a model onto that marker?
Very generously.
Very generously.
Yes.
Knowing you're a bit out of practice with the 9th, so you're getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So, no, be nice to your friends, people. And now we're going to go into Operation Imperial Guard turn, codename Hide Yarrick, so that he doesn't die and gets engage points for the rest of the game.
Exactly.
So we'll come back to you with that. Hello everyone, welcome to the end of the Imperial Guard turn. Gabriel, walk us through it.
So, this has been a bit of a cagier round. I had the squad of 10 that was in this Torox Prime disembark before movement and hold this behind obscuring terrain to keep my primary so I can get that safe 40. Then the Torox Prime moved over here to shoot a squad of intercessors off of objective 4, which it managed to do.
There they are, they're in the dead pile.
As well, I had a squad of the wounded Tempestus Scions move up into that table quarter to give me a 4th quadrant for engage on all fronts.
Yeah, so you got 3 for that, bringing you up to, you're on 6 right now, so 9?
Yeah, 9.
Yeah, nice.
The Bulgren have just shifted a little bit to make their target smaller, essentially, so they're not sticking out with anything in case a cheeky squad of Eradicators wants to come through. Yarrick has essentially stayed exactly where he has, outside of just shifting a little bit to make him even harder to see.
Yeah.
And it's really about sort of consolidating points right now and making sure that I'm not giving up any points stupidly.
Yeah. So with that game was it's looking to be a very tight game right now. I won't spoil the score so you can see the final one, but as the loud truck goes past, we'll go into the Iron Hands turn. Okay, everyone, welcome back to the end of the Scion turn. So I have shuffled forward. I gave a Dreadnought Chapter Master. I spent my CP.
Turn, by the way.
So I am being affected by the warp right now. And the Iron Hands turn. The Iron Hands have given a Dreadnought Chapter Master and have made the other Dreadnought a Lieutenant. For reasons of inefficiency purposes. And then I shuffled forward, the Barbarians moved down, and then they charged into the Scion Squad out here. They eviscerated them, and now they're going to come and play with that Scion Squad next. And the Apothecary brought an Incursor back, and my guys failed a charge because one of them couldn't quite clear the crater. So I were at 2 inches from my charge total, and that's bigger than 2 inches.
That's a little bit. It's a little bit more than 2 inches.
Yeah. So we're going to come out with a round summary. As Gabriel's only got a few units left, and we'll see what they can do. Okay everyone, welcome back to the end of round 5. Gabriel, can you just walk us through what happened in your turn real quick?
So
I think there's 2 items to go through.
Yeah, my turn was pretty exciting, I'm not gonna lie. I decided to finally move my Bulgren out because I think Chris was really wanting the Bulgren to be in combat. So I decided to humor him and managed to charge both the Incursor squad and the Eradicator squad. The Eradicator managed to die. I got 1 Eradicator.
Yeah.
And
you got 1 Incursor.
And I got 1 Incursor. Didn't manage to kill either.
After
squad.
I brought 1 back, so and then you did a wound to the sergeant, so almost killing a unit with the
almost
Bulgren.
Killing a unit. And the second big one was that my Plasma squad here managed to absolutely melt a Terminator Librarian.
Yeah, like it was 9 plasma shots overcharging at AP -4 into the Terminator, and it just rolled it, and I got 1-5.
It was very good.
So yeah, it was bad. But in response, the Primaris Barbarian went, I will avenge you, brother. Charged in with the help of the Primaris Intercessors, shooting long range, standing still to get rapid fire, and just melted that squad. Meanwhile, meanwhile over here, as you can see, I've got a little family photo going on with the Terminators and the Chapter Master. I just melted the Terminators. Like, I won't bore you with the story, but between the I melted the Bogan, but between the two Redemptors shooting in, then I got them down to four people, and then this guy, this hero of the Imperium, treading on a possessed of the Alpha Legion, just melted them.
It's absolutely crushed.
Did it by himself. Didn't need the Chapter Masters. The Terminators only swung into 10 Scions the entire game. But we're going to go into the end of the game discussion now, and we'll see the final score there. So we'll catch you later on. So, there we have it. There is the battle. So, well played.
Thank you very much.
So, the scores on the doors is 76 to 100. So that's the Guard and the Space Marines. So the Space Marines have won.
Yep.
In WTC money, that would be a 16-4 to the Space. A 14-6 to the Space Marines.
14-6. Yes.
Yeah, 14-6 because that's how math works.
That's yeah. It was a very hard fought game. I feel like I feel like there was a couple of mistakes all around. Just in terms of like, for example, in my first movement phase, I probably shouldn't have jumped my Valkyries right up into range of a bunch of plasma cannons and melter rifles. But you know, live and learn.
Yeah. Just to rattle through the scores in case anyone isn't looking at the screens because they're painting or anything. The primary for the Imperial Guard was 10, 10, 10, 10. Priority targets was 15 because it's priority targets. Raising Banners High was 10 because Gabriel does hell with 2 objectives of the entire game. And Engagement of Fronts was 11 because there's one turn you can just sneak past the Iron Hands line with the unit of Scions with our commander going, move, I'm right behind you, move on up, that's fine. So, then we go into the Iron Hand score, which is 15, 10, 10, 15 for primary. Then I've got 15 priority targets, 15 stranglehold, and 15 oath moments because those secondaries are far too easy to score.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah,
but you know what? The priority targets secondary is a very easy one, especially for this the way that the deployment zone is set out.
Yeah.
The way that you can move the objectives before your first turn means that you can essentially set yourself up for success, and it also means that once you get behind cover and can hold just the corner of one objective, you are able to just sort of rack those points up. So even though I was sort of stuck in only one table half for the majority of the game, I was able to get very steady secondary and primary points.
Priority target is definitely a bit of a controversial one in the in the 40k community because it basically reads both players get 15 points unless you're an army which is super aggressive and going and taking over the opponent's objectives. But even then, it's probably the one in their home base, so they're probably going to clear you out with whatever you send anyway. Like, yeah, you might get the 5 points for holding both, but at the end of your turn, well done. You're just giving them a unit.
Yeah,
on top
absolutely.
Of it. So I've been to an event where that was banned, that secondary. You couldn't take it, which I think was reasonable.
Yeah.
Because it just basically reads both players get plus 15 points. And I've only had one game ever, and I've played this mission probably upwards of 20 times, where I haven't scored maximum points. And that's because Space Wolves just came and just lifted me off right in the last turn, and because that was the last turn, I didn't have the amount of models left.
Yeah, potentially it does have the potential to sort of weaken a lot of armies that don't have a lot of shooting, just to keep something in the back line to make sure that you're getting those secondaries all the time. But most times when you're looking at a lot of like really balanced armies, like for example, my Volgrens stayed in the back for the majority of the game, just racking up secondary points. And they didn't really have to do anything. They could have stayed back there until the game ended.
Yeah, you never had to pop out to go and say hi to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did. But that was my own bad judgment more than anything else.
But it didn't cost you any points either. You know, you scored the points by then.
Yeah, exactly. It was just one of these things where I was like, well, I mean, I've already got the points. I'm not really denying anything or sacrificing anything by putting these Volgren out into the front. Like, let them party.
Yeah,
you know,
might as well. So I haven't played that. I haven't played it. It's probably one of the most durable lists in Space Marines. The only one that might be more durable against your specific kind of firepower would be something like the Deathwing Terminator blob, where you got -1 damage and transhuman.
Yeah.
In terms of like this raw armor save, you're not going to get any better than this. You're not going to get better than a -1 your armor save. And if anyone doesn't understand what we're saying by that, it's Terminators have a 2 base, then Stormtrooper gives them a 1 base, then they go to a 0 base for being in cover, and then Slice of Armor gives them a -1. In case anyone can work that out. So you need -4 to push them beyond the 2+.
Yeah, it was very, very, very difficult to do anything.
It was
to
impressive.
those Terminators. Yeah, it was one of these things where it's the perfect distraction card effects as well, because they're running up into your middle lane. You want to get them off of that center objective, and you know that if they have another turn, they can very easily come into your deployment zone and into your castle and really wreak some havoc.
Yeah.
And so you pump a lot of fire into it, as we saw. Pumping a lot of fire into it doesn't really work as well as you'd like it to. So two Torx Primes and a Plasma squad of Tempestus Scions dumped everything that they could into that Terminator squad, and I think one died and one was on 2 wounds.
What was a 1 wound?
One on 1 wound, yeah. So it was very difficult to get past that sort of center blob. But the other stuff, so the intercessors, the blade guard, and stuff like that, was quite easy to deal with just because of the rate of fire that comes out of this list. Like for each Torx Prime will do 24 shots per turn, so you're looking at 36 shots per turn from those, rerolling ones to hit, having an extra -1 AP. Then you add on the Scions, which can first rank fire, second rank fire, and that can be extremely devastating if you combine it with stuff like kill zone or close range efficacy and stuff like that. But in terms of the really heavy sort of durable units, I wasn't able to touch a single thing on them.
Yeah, like when you were shooting, and I think it was in round 2, you were shooting a couple of troop units, one on objective 4 and one in the middle. You split your fire, all the cannons is one Gatling gun and the other. You killed a total of 6 Marines with that. Maybe concentrated fire is ready to go, but I know the range was coming into play there a little bit. It's a 24-inch range gun.
Yeah, exactly.
With the Gatling in nature. But I mean, certainly. So one thing you could have done was if you'd shot all of your guns into the incursion squad in the middle, lifted them off. I'm suddenly not in the middle, and I'm not getting stranglehold, so I have to shift that Terminator unit into the middle then, or bring the incursors across, and both are, the incursors are moving 4 inches plus in advance, and the Terminators are moving 5 inches plus in advance. That I need like a 6 or a 5 to get those Terminators into the middle and hold it within to score my 2 points for being in the middle at the end of the round. That's the weakness of this, it's not very fast. And you saw that how, I mean, Yarrick, I think, is it safe to say that Yarrick's your MVP?
Yeah, Yarrick.
if surviving in the back corner.
Yeah, if Yarrick could possibly get a promotion from Hero of Baby's Hive to Hero of my list for today, then he got it. Because, yeah, he was an absolute machine. Like, killing off the Adversary Assassin, killing off that last Blade Guard, tanking fire left, right, and center. Like he was definitely the star of the game just by virtue of him being able to let me keep getting
also
those,
giving you the rerolls.
giving me the rerolls from when all of the Scions dropped down from Deep Strike, and where it was able to clear off the majority of the Blade Guard veterans that had tied up the Melta veteran squad. So yeah, he had a lot of synergy available with his attacks. He is very, very punchy, and it means that when you're going up against things like Space Marines that have 2 wounds and have high armor saves, that you have a little bit extra close combat effectiveness.
Yeah, I think that's a little, like Yarrick is definitely a little trick in the Guard Codex that is often forgotten, probably not by Guard players, but that's probably one of the few really good things in there for you right now.
I think,
but it's definitely like everyone else goes, oh Yarrick, and like, oh yeah, he's a thing.
He exists. I think it's because I think even a lot of Imperial Guard players don't really think about Yarrick unless they're going to play against orcs or something like that. But he for the 100 points that he is extremely worth it. Like just the innate re-rolling ones to hit is very good. You can have him babysitting a bunch of Bullgrin. You can have him babysitting some Valkyries for shooting. If you like, that's something that I maybe should have done, is just left the Valkyries in the backfield and let them sort of shoot at anything that came out to play in turn 2.
But they didn't have the ideal loadout. A couple of las cannons on them would be so nice.
See, I would tend to agree, but I have run Valkyries with Hellstrike missiles and las cannons for dedicated anti-tank weaponry. And it, just because it's just the one shot, even hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, that's not guaranteed, and then you only have the one shot, so I'd rather go for a rate of fire over weight of fire sort of idea. So the multi-las, the heavy bolters, the rocket pods, they can put out a pretty frightening amount of shots, which in the right context can be very good for getting people off of objectives and stuff like that. But when somebody's in obscuring terrain, or if they are somebody like the Incursors, where you can just innately give them a -1 to hit, it becomes very difficult for them to operate really effectively against stuff like this. Against like T3 models, like Gene Stealer Cold Sisters, they do work. They're really good. But otherwise, yeah, maybe switching out the las cannon and sacrificing a couple of Scion units would have been the way to go.
But we're going to have to wrap it up there, as I can see the red light of death appearing over the battery symbol, meaning that we're about to be cut off by the camera. I would love to have gotten into things like preach to the list. Certainly I would want some more speed in mine. That's one thing I was lacking. A couple of land speeder storms would be nice, because that's like 110 points for 2 of them. So basically just drop the assassin, as nice as that is. That was kind of a, I don't want to say meme or joke, because he did do a lot of work, but it was like, I haven't played assassin well, I want to play an assassin, I'm going to play an assassin. That was the thought process.
It's an easy plug-in. If you have 100 points, especially with Space Marines, there's not a lot of like things that you can get for like 100 points flat.
In sense, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, exactly. And what's really more effective? The methed up killing machine.
I think there's more than just meth going on there. I think it's a few other things. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up there. So, and just for the record, MVP was probably the Emissary Assassin, just being an absolute baller. I think for me. Yeah. Just because I love him to bits. So we're gonna wrap it up there. Please do like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, because time is running out of the camera. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. Like it, comment it, and subscribe it. It helps with the channel a massive amount. You have no idea. So anyway, peace out.